both sides of the conversation family. We welcome you to this virtual space crafted especially for you. My name is Jada Curry, and I'm both sides of the conversation's marketing director and graphics design specialist. I want to take some time to ground us all as a community into this space we are about to open up in, so let's go through our community standards. Both sides of the conversation is providing a safe and honest space for open conversation, so we ask that you all be respectful of that. We also ask that you be respectful of each panelist, host, and participant. We do encourage healthy debates and conversations. Don't personalize anything with anyone. This includes name-calling, bullying, trolling, or shaming. This will not be allowed or tolerated. Your perspective is yours. It is not a prescription. You do not have to agree, but show respect. These community standards apply to all of our live shows and any virtual spaces that we hold on social media, including YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We want to make sure that we are caring for each other as a community. This is our priority in all of our endeavors as both sides of the conversation. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's show and continue to stay in touch with us via YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or all of them. All right, thank you for listening and see you soon.
Welcome, everybody, to Both Sides of the Conversation. I'm John Henry, Executive Director. Today is Thursday, so you know what that means. We're going to have another Educational Thursday presentation. Today is going to be a phenomenal educational presentation. We're talking about financial literacy. We have Dr. Leah Johnson coming on, is going to give community some phenomenal information, tools to help us build what we need to build financially so that we can leave generational wealth. With that being said, there was a report that came out today talking about the America racial gap here in America. The net worth for Black families was $17,150. The net worth of white families was $171,000. That is a big gap. That is a problem. That is a crisis to me in our community. So this educational presentations and the ones that we will continue to have here on both sides of the conversation is very important. We have to intentionally get our community ready to understand money, how to spend money, how to save money, how to invest. We have to do the things that these other ethnic groups are doing to financially take the lead on us. It's not hard. It's just a matter of pivoting our mindset, rethinking and reimagining how we spend our money and how do we value our money. So with tonight's presentation, I hope that you all will get something from tonight's presentation and think about your money a little different when it comes to saving, investing, and spending, making sure that every dollar you spend is actually something that's needed and it is an asset, not a liability. Great information tonight. So looking forward to tonight's presentation. With that being said, I want to get to a couple of community announcements and then get started to introduce tonight's guest. One, I'm speaking a little bit better tonight. I went today to get my stitches out of my mouth from my surgery last week. I'm happy because I can eat now and do the things that I normally could do. So hopefully it won't be no drooling coming down my mouth tonight on tonight's show. But I am back. And after going to the dentist today, I was able to get out there in the community. Right after that, went over there to support our East Oakland Collective. What a phenomenal job that they're doing with our community, for our community. Over 350 families were impacted today with groceries, food, hot meals, just a lot of love and humility coming out of that place and a lot of great things that they're doing to impact our community. So I want to give a huge shout out to the East Oakland Collective, to the team and all of the volunteers and folks that are coming there. That is an organization you want to get behind and support because they are really doing the work, blessing our community. And when those families come in and get the things that they need, they are very appreciative of the work. And we are very appreciative as well to be a part of the work that they're doing. And I'm just glad to be able to pull up help support and make sure that our community is blessed and impacted today. And I know a lot of families were. So great stuff, and great shout out to them for what the work that they're doing. With that being said, I want to jump into the few of the community announcements, and then we'll get started tonight. One of the New York police officers that was involved in the arrest in the death of Eric Garner, he admitted to making two mistakes when filling his initial report while testifying in court to the Staten Island family and to the court system. On Monday, Officer Justin D'Amico acknowledged two key errors made when he was filing a report on Gardner's death, writing that there was no physical force was used on the arrest, charging Gardner with tax avoidance felony. Gardner was killed on July 17, 2014. D'Amico's partner, Daniel Polento, put Gardner in a prohibited chokehold while arresting him. Video footage of the incident propelled Gardner's death into the national spotlight and played an instrumental role in the racial justice movement. So it's sad that now finally the officers coming forward and saying some of the things that they did wrong. Sad to have to get it this late down the line. But again, there's a continued need for community to continue to hold accountable our law enforcement. And when they're dealing and interacting with the community, there's still a number of cases and things that's taking place across this country, reports that we're seeing of how police are using excessive force and things of that nature when it comes to our Black community and brown community, and it's unacceptable. And we have to continue to stand in solidarity against that and make sure that we get the right policies in place to help protect our citizens and our families and our peoples in the community. So looking forward to continue to pushing that and being part of that as well. Want to give a huge shout out to Black New World Media. My brother JR did a phenomenal story on the organization, both sides of the conversation, and me, myself. So just want to thank him. You know, we all about King supporting King, no competition. He's media, we media. We're just all doing our part to highlight the people in our community that are doing things to impact us. So we just proud of the work and the article that he wrote. Phenomenal stuff, JR. And shout out to the Black New World Media family for doing that story on us. That was pretty good for both sides of the conversation. As you all know, we are still continuing to try to get funding and continue to keep this platform free and moving forward for the community. So we just want to continue to let people know we have a GoFundMe going. We have funding going on, trying to get financial support. And I just want everybody to know giving is not just about giving donations. It's about making a difference, and you could do more with a little bit of support. So thank you all that have been supporting us. For all of you that would like to support in different ways, I know everybody have their own way of doing support and donations and things of that nature. You could go to Amazon Smile Program, and 0.5% of your eligible purchases on Amazon, you can have them go to both sides of the conversation. So every time you shop, you could give a little bit to help support the work we're doing to help continue to bless the community. And we appreciate all donations, everybody that continue to support the movement and what we're doing here at both sides of the conversation. So we just want to thank you, but you do have an opportunity to go to Smile Amazon and use your purchases to help donate as well. Also, we are looking for volunteers, a great way for community to get involved. A lot of people are looking for volunteer opportunities. How can we get involved and things of that nature? We have a number of volunteer spots that we have. If you are one of those folks that's looking to commit some of your time and you like to come volunteer with us and help do some of this work of impact in our community, we're looking for a number of people to come help out, production, marketing, and some social media skills. Hopefully we can get some young people that are really good with social media and doing some of that stuff. So if you have that family member or a young person that's pretty good at doing the TikTok videos and all that amazing stuff, please have them reach out to us, info at both sides of the conversation, and we'll definitely have some of our folks reach out to them. With that being said, there's a number of community events taking place. Unfortunately, I will not be able to make a number of these events this weekend because I will be in LA this weekend working with some of the folks to write some of these Senate bills that we're trying to get passed. We're going to get it up to Sacramento and see if we can get them voted on. So I'm looking forward to being part of that process. So I'll be down in LA this weekend working with some of the officials, trying to put together some policy to help impact the community. So this weekend, I won't be able to have a lot of fun and be out with you all in the community, but we'll have some of our both sides of the conversation team out at some of these spots, checking out what's going on and things of that nature. With that being said, shout out to the Mo Magic family, Collective Impact. They are doing a Halloween celebration tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. They're going to have foods, games, activities, and they're going to also have a costume contest. Y'all, please tell me what James is dressed up as. I want to see what he's going to be, but somebody got to reach out and tell me. I don't know if they all dressing up, but the young people will be out there. They're going to have a great event for the young folks, and I'm just happy to see community still doing things to impact our community during this COVID. We are not out of it yet, but there's a lot of progress happening. So just looking forward to that. Also, there will be a trunk and treat celebration in East Oakland at Liberation Lot, Eastmont Mall at 6955 Foothill Boulevard this Saturday from 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. They're going to have roller skating, pumpkin carving, candy, paint, face painting, and things of that nature for the young folks out there in Oakland. So if you're in the East Bay, please take your little ones out there and let them go look at some nice old school cars, and they're going to open up the trunks and give the kids safe candy. So please, if you're in the Oakland area and you want to go out there, please check out that event this Saturday. The Fillmore Jazz Ambassadors is presenting the Divisadero Jazz Sundance. Is happening Sunday, October 31st from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. If you like jazz music, if you want to hear some of the art, these are Dreamkeeper Initiative folks. This is some of the investments that went back into the arts. So if you want to see some Black artists, you want to hear some folks that's in the community playing these instruments and relaxing the soul and the mind, go out to this event and check it out. It'll be happening at Divisadero in Grove again from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. and that'll be this Sunday. So please get out there and go listen to some good music and watch the kids run around in their costumes and have a great time. Also, the next event up, I am honored, will be a part of this event, the East Oakland Collective and Both Sides of the Conversation. We are presenting Both Sides of the Bay Unified Family and Friends Skate Day. This is going to be a great event. November the 13th from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. We'll be out there at Liberation Park, 7101 Foothill Boulevard. This is an RSVP required, so please check out the registration, Evite event registration. We would like everybody to reserve. We are still looking for volunteers and folks that would like to help out with this event. So if you're a volunteer, you want to come out and help, please reach out to us and we'll get you on the list as volunteers to come help out and support this event. Also, East Oakland Collective and Both Sides of the Conversation with a number of other organizations are going to be a part of the Feed the Hood 1919. This is a special one. Thanksgiving edition pop-up care village is going to be happening Saturday, November the 20th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the East Oakland Collective main office, our office at 7800 MacArthur Boulevard. We're going to be pulling up food, doing different things, going to some of these homeless encampments, and just going around blessing the people. There's going to be some medical folks out there. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. You'll see a bunch of volunteers. It's a huge event, and we're just honored to be a part of it. So looking forward to that event as we are approaching the holiday season. There's also some drives that we're going to be doing in collaboration with East Oakland Collective. As you all know, we are transitioning fast into the winter time. Folks are needing coats, blankets, different things of that nature to help our unhoused families. And I just want to make sure that we're a part of it and you're a part of it. We'll be getting that information out to you all soon. We're going to be collecting coats and things for those in need. This is going to be a cold winter, wet winter, and we want to make sure that some of the families and some of the young people that are out there with their families will have warm blankets and coats for the young folks and for the families. So looking forward to that. And then lastly, our Both Sides of the Conversation shows. As you all know, our Sunday conversations are not happening this week or the next week. We're going to be doing it for the rest of this year, the third Sunday. So we'll have 2 more for the rest of this year. And then as we're going through these sponsorship and looking at some of these conversations we're having about funding and trying to raise this funding, we're going to try to get back to the normal programming of every Sunday and all 3 of our live programs. But for right now, our Sunday conversations will be the third Sunday of every month. So we're looking forward to that. Our next Sunday conversation will happen November 21st, and that will be our relationship part 2 conversation. For all you that missed part 1, go back to our YouTube, watch the part 1. Part 2 is going to be a phenomenal. The amount of emails and the people texting saying they want part 2. We listen to the community. We're going to have part 2. We're going to reach out to the guests that were a part of that part 1, and we're going to probably add a few more other folks. But it should be a great conversation. I'm looking forward to it. It should be fireworks. As you all know, when we talk about relationship and Black love, you always know there's fireworks and it's always a good conversation. So we're looking forward to that as well. And then with that, I'm going to go ahead and land my plane. Those are all the announcements. I had one more announcement in Nigeria. That is one of the African nation that is doing digital currency as the means of their currency. So again, to the folks here in America that we keep talking about digital currency, cryptocurrency, the United States Treasury is looking for a way to go to digital currency, but Nigeria has been the first country to do that in the African nation. So powerful stuff. And again, this is why these educational Thursdays are very important. We are reaching out to some economists and some of the people that know about what's going on in the transformation of this cash into digital currency. We have to educate our community to be ahead of the curve. We have to teach our elders of the community about this change that's coming, because here in America, at some point, digital currency is going to be the new currency. As they're slowly moving money and coins out of rotation, digital currency will be the new wave of money and investing with currency. So more information to come, and we're going to continue to reach out to the folks who are ahead of the curve so that we can start pulling our community up so that we can be ahead of the curve. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and bring up tonight's guest, Dr. Leah Johnson. She's a financial consultant, an educator in the area of retirement, annuities, life insurance, and long-term care. Phenomenal sister. We're honored to have her here tonight. So I'm going to bring her up, let her introduce herself to the community, and then we'll get into tonight's presentation. So with that being said, welcome to both sides of the conversation, Dr. Leah. We are happy to have you here and looking forward to your presentation tonight.
Thank you so much, John. It's a blessing to be here tonight. And I'm just really elated all the time when I get to speak and talk about money. Some people like to talk about money, some people don't. And but I'm just here to share, because I've been through adversity just like everybody else. And it's been, just a journey to go from where you are to get to where you want to be. And so I had to learn and understand that I had to not only educate myself, not only listen to people who have been across the street and are coming back. Those are the ones whom I get to glean from. But it's always making sure that you change your mindset and your behavior. So I prepared a little slideshow. I know I'm a visual person. I'm a professor, and I want to thank all the ones who are supporting everything that we do. Shout out to my husband and my kids, all my family, friends who are on as well. But I want to go ahead and jump right into it, because this is really very a particular subject when you talk about money. And so if we can go ahead and start the presentation, I'll just go ahead and we thank God for technology. You can go ahead and advance that to the next screen. But I want to go ahead and jump right into it. And if any of you have any questions at all, go ahead and put them in the chat. We'll give you my contact info. I do have some objectives too. And also, hey, let's just go ahead and have a good time to learn, and share the information with people whom you know, and even call some people and let them log on as well. Support this effort. And John, I do want to support you even beyond today. I do want to see how I can support you and the efforts that you are making towards helping the community. So appreciate everything that you're doing. So I'm going to talk about financial literacy. I'm going to bring you some different concepts, what's been working. I'm going to talk a little bit about credit repair. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can leverage your money, how money works, I'm not a tax person, so I'm not going to give any tax information. You can talk to your tax rep about that. But let's go ahead and talk about financial literacy and why it's important to know about your money. And right when we're going to go ahead and advance the screen. I know when people talk about...
1 second. I'm trying to get it. It's changing here, but it's not changing there. Hold on 1 second.
Oh, okay. All right.
But you could talk while I'm trying to figure this out.
Certainly. Absolutely. You know, how many of you have heard people say, or even within your family, oh my God, money is, I don't have enough. I don't earn enough. I'm in debt, or I don't have money for children's college. I don't have enough money to retire on. I'm going to run out before I can retire. And how many of you have even considered how much you need before you can retire? And Some people say, well, I have a job, but I can't afford to quit right now. So I was in Denny's, and because I like the pancakes. And so I was meeting with a client there, and there was a lady, she was the waitress, and she probably was in her 70s. And it saddened me because she was shuffling her feet as she was working. And I said to the client, I said, wow, you're a server too. Is this what you want your life to be like? And she said, of course not. And so she says, what do I do? So there we started that conversation. And so I in helping people, I had to help myself first, but in helping people, now that we know, I learned different internal revenue codes about how you can leverage your money, how to create generational wealth. If you want to create generational wealth, build a legacy, just put that in the chat and see where you are. And I should take a poll right now on a scale of 1 to 10. How comfortable with you with your finances right now? 1 being, I'm very, very comfortable. 10, I'm not comfortable at all. Just put that in the chat really quickly. Let's just take a poll.
All right, we'll see how many people are commenting. Please go to our YouTube channel, use the live chat function, or go to our Facebook page, use the comments, and we'll get those comments up. I think I have it up. For some reason, it froze, but let me put it up on the screen and let me see if I can run through this.
Perfect. Okay, we're good to go. All right, thanks a lot. Let's give it up for John. All right. If we told you all the things we had to do to get to this point today, you'd be like, whoa. All right. But everything is going to be worth it. Get your pen and papers out. Take a lot of notes. And if you have further questions, even beyond today, you can go ahead and shoot me a text, an email, or call me. I'll be more than willing. My team and I will be more than willing to help you out. But I want to just briefly touch on, why is financial literacy important? It's important because we have so many Americans now in this country who are experiencing more debt. It's important because we want to help individuals to make good, comprehensive financial decisions so that they don't have to live paycheck to paycheck. We want you to be able to take control of your debt before it takes control of you. And everybody knows a student in college, I'm sure. And many students were not able to afford the college tuition, and many students didn't receive their paid tuition in the form of a scholarship or a grant. So what did we have to do? We had to take out student loans. Then we're looking at credit card debt. Go ahead and advance me to the next one. And so with, we're looking at now some adult statistics. 81% of Americans said they don't know how much money they'll need to fund their golden years. So all of the information that I'm giving to you this evening, it's by research data. So nothing is going to be coming from what I think I know. This is all what has been researched. 46% of these people said they could not afford an expense of $400 if an emergency happened. They would have to sell something if they had an emergency. And 31% of these adults say they don't even have a savings. So just think about that. As we're going through this data and this information, just think about where you are. I'm not here to demoralize you or put you down. All we're wanting to do is for you to see where you are. And you may be at the top of your game. If you are, definitely now you need to spread that information of how you got to where you are. Don't just keep it to yourself. And then we're going to talk about our youth statistics. Almost 50%. Go ahead and advance for me, John. The youth. We look at our youth now. And we have 8 children, my husband and I, born to our marriage. We've been married we just celebrated 37 years of marriage, and we have 8 babies and 15 grandchildren, 1 on the way. But we looked at our youth and was like, wow, are we going to have to support our youth? How many of you are parents? Put that in the chat. How many of you are parents and still are supporting your grown children? How is that going to work when they need to learn how to support themselves. So 50% of the millennials that were that we looked at, they said, well, they don't know if they can come up with $2,000 within the next month if an emergency rose. I talked to some adults, and they said, not just to you, but it's the adults. And nearly 2/3 of Americans, 62%, are stressed about money. Do you know now stress, doctors and researchers have found out, causes cancer? Cancer can lead to death. A lot of people, there's more research now that I'm looking into now, because people are not able to pay their medical bills coming out of an extensive surgery. Now they're going into long-term care, so they're more in debt. They don't want to live. And only 16% of Americans between ages of 18 to 26 are very optimistic about their financial futures. I looked on another report about the number of suicides that are happening between the ages of 20 and 30. When I tell you, not just because of COVID presented a pandemic, we were in a financial pandemic even before COVID. Go ahead and advance for me, John. And so my being in higher education, I said, well, wow, let me look and see what these college graduates have. Yes, I'm a college graduate. Many of you are college graduates. But when we look at what the loans, the student loans have done, of course, we're waiting for the people on the Hill to cancel the debt, cancel the student loan, some of it, part of it. That would be great, because the student loan, they're not letting up. So 11.5% of 214 people, college graduates in 2014, they have loans that are in default. So they're really thankful that during the pandemic, they had a reprieve, but now next year, they're going to have to look at how they're going to pay these student loans back. Grateful for the education, but how are they going to pay the student loans back? And 81% of college educated millennials have at least one long-standing debt. And out of these that graduated from college, the debt still seems to surmount. So what I did, I took a look at how all of this is coming about. And I looked at a report, and it gave me numbers for the status of economic education. Everybody in high school had to go and take government and econ, right? If you had to take one government and econ, go ahead and type that in the chat. Yep, because that was one of the requirements to graduate high school. So I said, okay, I'm going to concentrate on California really quickly. California requires government and econ specifically, economics, right? Go to the next screen. And then I said, well, wow, look at this one. What about personal finance? California does not require personal finance. So how are students supposed to learn, and when are they supposed to learn about finance? And so when you have individuals getting 20, 30, 40 years old, and they don't know how to balance their checkbook, and they keep writing or trying to go to the debit card, how many of you, not you personally, but how many of you know people that have gone to the ATM machine with a hope and a prayer? Hoping they put it in and put it in their, and then they're surprised when they can get $20 out of the ATM machine. Or how many of you, one lady says, I went into the bank and I put in $1, and I think she's $1.18, so it can equal $20, so she can go to the ATM machine and get out 20. We don't need to live like that. So my issue is, and I have an issue, because go to the next screen. My issue is that even with California, do you see on the screen where it requires no finance, right? And some of you may live in different states. Go to the next screen. I got a lot of information, so I'm not gonna belabor, but they still require economics. True or not true? I did get an A in government and econ. I don't remember using economics on a daily basis. Have any of you used economics on a daily basis? But I haven't. So I said, why? Going to the next screen. I said, well, what's going on in these United States and why aren't we able to have finance in our schools? You know, the wealth gap is so big right now and it's increasing. You have the haves and you have the have-nots. You have 5% of the population, you have 95% of the population. I looked at this nation's report card. You can find your state on here. I looked at California. California is one of the highest cost of living states in this country. But look at this grade that California is getting. California is getting a D. How does that work? How do you expect, how does California, not you, because there's some action behind this, how does California expect children, students to be raised in an environment where they can be educated about what they need to know about, and that's about their money, if they're not providing that education? If you have parents who did not receive that education in school, if you had grandparents who did not receive that education in school, how in the world are the children supposed to learn? Even right now, I'm in a group of teachers, and if any of you have children who are in school, please send a thank you card to teachers. They are having chronic and critical illnesses. I mean, like, it has gone exponentially crazy right now. A lot of teachers are quitting because the students are coming to school, they don't have ADHD, they don't have all of that. It's just behavioral issues because some parents, and I'm a parent, I wrote a book about parenting. But what I've discovered is sometimes parents, they don't parent when they send their child to school, so they expect the teachers to raise the children because the children are with the parents 5 and 6, 7 hours a day. How is that going to work? And then when you get your child back home, not you, not anybody on here, when the child comes back home and doesn't want to do the homework, but yet parents send them back into school, how can that student learn? It's not fair for the student, and it's not right when it comes to the teacher. So back to this report card. Our goal now, go ahead. Yeah, thank you. This California, let me share this with you. There were 2 laws that California was considering to pass. Both of them died on the floor. Did anybody know about this? This law, AB 1087, was to provide, the bill was to require financial literacy in the schools. It died on the floor. Then there was another one that would have resulted in the education of all Californians in the schools to have this education. It died on the floor. Do you know what passed? The one that passed was, to the school districts, we, the California senators, your representatives, said, we'll go ahead and we'll allow something to take place in the school. You can put it in as part of your curriculum, but not a whole class. So if you have economics, you can have a couple of hours worth of personal finance. It's time for us to act. Go to the next slide, please. So what can you do? You can help strengthen our economics, our personal financial education efforts. You can go ahead and you can request that a core class of finance. Yes, you can do that. You don't have to be a parent. What if I don't know, John, I don't know. What if we started an effort where we collected signatures and we took it to the Senate? I'll take it. And say, no, we are demanding that you have a course in finance in the schools. We are demanding. Your congressmen, senators must listen to the people who put them in office. So you can take a screenshot of this, but I want to get a little bit more into my presentation. But that's just a little bit. I'd say I'm kind of like, I'm feeling some type of way about this, but it's going to continue with this cycle if we don't do anything about it. So what I've noticed, and I am a licensed insurance agent, and I'm proud to be that, because it's given me the latitude to learn and study more about finance. I'm also a certified financial literacy instructor. And so, but it's that this latitude has allowed me to delve more into what we need to do and get the word. So I am asking each one of you, even just to share some of this information with what you're going to get tonight, because we got some more information that we're going to go ahead and share. But we have Family A and Family B. Family B represents 5% of the population, making $250,000 or more. They're the business owners. They have indexed accounts. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do not become afraid or fearful of these financial terms. Can I just say what I'm going to say? I'm one of 11 children. We grew up in South San Francisco. My daddy was a preacher. My mom just turned 91. Praise the Lord. And when we grew up, we were going to the schools. We were the only Black family in South San Francisco. And so when we saw people in finance, they didn't look like us. It was the Asians and the Caucasians. So I'm thinking, as I was growing up, that that was really just set aside for those particular groups of people. And when I started learning about finance, I still say, okay, well, we'll get somebody else to do our finance and be our financial advisor. I don't need to know all of that. Oh my gosh, was I so wrong? I was wrong. I was really wrong, because I did not know about indexed accounts that's been around since 1913. I did not know about permanent life insurance. By the way, people think that life insurance is just good for the beneficiary when their loved one passes away. I'm going to teach you something before we get off of here. I'm going to teach you what life insurance does. When you go to purchase a home, on the mortgage application, it has, do you have a life insurance policy? And I'm like, what the world? Why do they want to know that? They want to know if you have a permanent life insurance. Well, what's the difference? There are 4 types. One is an index universal life. You write that down. One is a universal life. One is a term policy. And the other one is a whole life. So you can get with me afterwards and I'll explain more about that. Then the Family B, they're the ones who own 2 and 3, 4, 5 homes. They have a diversified portfolio. All these words sound really fancy, right? They're debt-free. They can wake up every morning and say, what do I want to do today? I know all of you just at that point, they say, oh my God, that'd be kind of great. Yes, it would be. They're able to maximize their tax advantages. They have a financial professional, but they only make up a small percent of the population. Then we look at Family A, making up 95% of the population. They make $100,000 or less. They have a job. Robert Kiyosaki, he terms that as a journey just over broke. They have a 401k plan. You say, well, everybody kind of needs one of those. I'm going to show you something in a minute. They have term life insurance. They rent a home. They put money in the bank. Say, where else am I supposed to put it? I'll share with you. They have credit card debt. They have minimal tax advantages. They don't have an advisor. They don't have a plan because they're living from paycheck to paycheck and they're just trying to make it to the next month. But this makes up the majority of the population. Go ahead, John. Most people don't plan to fail. They just fail to plan. So we look at, I took this from Robert Kiyosaki. He says, there are some ways to improve your financial IQ. How many of you want to increase your financial IQ? So there are 5 ways to do it. You got to make more money. Check. You got to protect your money. Check. You got to budget your money. Check. You got to leverage your money. Check. And you have to improve your financial information. So let's talk about this really quick. I want to talk about some rules of money. Go to the next one, John. There are 3 rules of money. And these rules of money, I'm going to share with you because this is how you can grow your money, protect your money, leverage your money, and build your wealth. How many of you are interested in building your wealth? Let me just see it in the chat. If you're interested, then I am, of course. So let's say you're 29 years old. I give you $10,000. The rule of 72 was widely used by Albert Einstein. He says if you take the number 72 divided by the interest rate you receive on your bank account, then that's going to be equal to the number of years it'll take for your money to double. So let's say Renee, let's say John, you are 29 years old today. I'll put you back to whatever age you are later, but you're 29 today. And I give you $10,000. You take it to the bank says, this is your lucky day. I'm going to give you 1%. You're like, well, that doesn't really sound like much. Well, what am I normally getting? You're getting like 0.01. So this rule works. 72 divided by 1% is equal to 72 years it's going to take for your money to double. I don't know how many of you on here has 100. You want to be 101 when that 10,000 doubles. Go to the next screen, John. You can click all the way through to a couple of screens. Go ahead. That'll save us some time. One more. All right. And so I know all of your eyeballs just kind of probably went to like the 10%, but let me explain. So when you're at 4%, that's 18 years your money is going to double. Every 18 years, you're going to be 65 by the time you get 40. All of you who have a 401k, I want you to look at the balance to see where you are. See where you are with your 401k. And if you're going to have enough. Many people who are retiring now are outliving their money because they did not take advantage of a code that was written. This rule right here, 72 divided by 6, every 12 years, your money is going to double. How many people do you know who can retire at the age of 65 with $80,000? That might sound like a lot, but that's before taxes. And we've not even considered inflation. But if you have an account that's going to yield you 10%, your money will double then every 7 years, yielding you $640,000 by the time you get 72. Go to the next one, John. There's the second rule of money, and it talks about how your money grows. Go to the next one, John. Oh, there we go. All right. This one talks about your money growing. You're looking at these 3 different ways your money grows. How would you like your money to grow? Do you want it to grow fixed? Do you want to go variable or indexed? If you have a 401k, can you put that? I have a 401k in the chat. Just put it in the chat. I have a 401k. I have a 403b. I have a 457. I have a TSP. Put that in the chat for me. Let's talk about this for a sec. If you say that your money is growing fixed, this is in the bank account, and the money is just going to be stagnant, but it doesn't consider or take into consideration the inflation. So when inflation happens, the value of your dollar is going to shrink. But what about a variable account? Variable, that looks like a heart attack waiting to happen. It goes up and it goes down, up and down, up and down. Quick question. How many of you have a 401k or 403b? Just put that in the chat really quickly. So did someone sit down with you and explain and give you the respect of saying, this is how it's going to work, but this looks like somebody gambling with your money? Do you like people gambling with your money? I know I don't. And then the indexed account is, you see the red line sitting on top of the gray line? Every time the stock market goes up, the red line goes up and it locks in. Stock market goes down, your money does not move. Go to the next slide, please. And then we look at how your money gets taxed. How many of you like paying taxes on your money? I know I don't. I know we got to, but I know I don't. Okay, so do you want to pay taxes? If you had a pot of money and you say, wow, I'm at my retirement end and I've done well, here's my pot of money and see you all later. And you have your pot of money. Somebody comes through door number 1. They says, well, do you want to pay taxes on that now I really don't, but you got it. Or do you want to pay taxes later? I don't know. Taxes may be higher or lower. What do you think? To all our guests, do you think taxes are higher or lower later? I don't know. Some people are saying higher. Okay. So do you want to give up more of your money? Or somebody comes through door number 3. What about door number 3? Say, okay, well, you don't have to pay taxes on that right now at all. You know, never? No, never. You mean all this money that I have saved up, you mean I don't have to pay taxes on it? And it's grown by compounding interest? Are you kidding me? No, I'm not kidding you. Right? Let's see. Go to the next one. John, I need to see if it's going to click for me. Go. Okay. It clicked through the whole thing. So, all right. So this is demonstrating. I'm going to go through this really quickly. I don't have a clicker, so bear with me. You see, you have your gross and you have your net, you have your paycheck. And from your paycheck, let's say you're contributing $500 into your 401k, which was created in 1978. It's an internal revenue code. So we look at this and we say, wow, there's some certain laws, some certain rules that you're going to have to be governed by. And so it's the 59.5 rule and the 72 rule. I just want to quickly explain. So if you wanted to take money from your 401k, your 403b, your TSP, then you're going to have to pay a penalty of 10% if you are younger than 59.5. Some of you may have already experienced this. Then if you want to say, well, I'm going to leave it in there even when I retire, I don't want to take it out just yet because I don't want to pay taxes. Well, when you get 72, any money that has not been taxed, you're going to have to take what's called a required minimum distribution. And let's say you have $1 million. I hope your eyeballs are following me up at the top right. Let's say you've saved $1 million. And if you say taxes are going to be higher or lower, they may be higher. I don't know. I think they're going to be higher. You're going to lose more money. And do you know that you're paying taxes twice on this government structured account? How many of you know you actually signed Uncle Sam on as your partner when you became, signed on with your 401k? Uncle Sam is your partner. If when you get 72, and say if you have $1 million in your retirement account, you must take, right now in California, it's like right at 4%. You must take $40,000 from your 401k. You say, well, I don't want to take it right now because I don't want to pay taxes. Well, you really don't have a choice. And if you don't take what you're supposed to take, then the government will come and take 50% of what you should have taken. And you're going to receive a tax bill on that $20,000 if you were supposed to take 40. That's happened to a lot of people because they were not educated on their retirement account with their company. The other thing too, if your company happens to go bankrupt, do you know the first thing that they would take is your 401k because it is an asset to that company. It's not yours until you actually have that money in your hand. So that's part of the 401k. But since I've been in financial education, I've learned so much about how money grows and the other side of how people make money, how the Rockefellers, how the Vanderbilts, how they all made money and how they're still making money. There's a book entitled What Would the Rockefellers Do? And I'd love to be able to send you a PDF of that. I have the PDF. I'll send it to you, no problem. And if you put your email in the chat, we can do that. And then the other piece of what I've learned about insurance, and this is what propelled me to become an insurance agent. A lot of people think, insurance, I don't want to hear about that. Somebody might try and kill me off. I'm not ready to die yet. No. Please erase that from your mind. Insurance, that is not the only benefit. Insurance has been around since 1913. And it allows people to build cash accumulation via compounding interest and not have to pay any taxes. You are totally protected. You can get emergency money out without paying taxes, or you don't have to get permission. And this is becoming the #1 retirement vehicle in the country. People are using this when babies are 15 days old. My husband and I had a financial advisor. He didn't tell us anything about what I'm telling you today. And we've known him. It was quite a conversation over the phone. I'm sure my husband remembers it. But had he told us about it, we would have been 6 years ago, perhaps $4 million banked for our children, all 8 of our children, had we known about it. But the word is not getting out. The education is not getting out. This particular policy protects your family. It protects you from being taxed. You say, I don't have to pay taxes. Sounds too good to be true. Well, it's not too good to be true. You just have to be healthy. And then you have to make sure that you're using it as a retirement. Save it. Don't spend it. Just let it grow. This also protects you against the market risk. How many of you know people who actually lost money in 2001? I know a lot of people. We were included. How about in 2008? I know people. We were included. Had we known about this, we would not have lost a dime. You'll never see any wealthy people cry, rant, and rave when the stock market crashes. My question is, are you willing to get up every day and go to work, working for somebody else, making other people rich, for you to put your money into a vehicle when people have not educated you on that? Because if I ask you, put it in the chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how familiar are you with the way a 401k works? Or how many times have your HR department or your benefits department sat down with you to educate you out of respect to say, this is how your 401k works? Go ahead and change the screen. I'm getting a little worked up here, John. Go ahead and advance to the next screen. All right. I want to show you. All right. The index account, just really quickly. The index account is what helps to give these policies their growth. There's a code that was created in 1913. It's called a Life Insurance Retirement Plan. My congressman never told me about it. And in 2012, this particular code came up for a vote. Did your congressman notify you to let you know that this plan was going to be voted on, this code was going to be voted on, and it will allow you to build generational wealth for your family? We just simply show people how to redirect what they're contributing to their 401k into policies like this so you can grow your generational. How would you like to create your own family bank so that your children and your grandchildren and generations to come do not ever have to go to a bank for a loan? Wouldn't that be just ideal for you and your family? All of your children are able to purchase homes in their 20s. They can get it from their own family bank. So over the past 20 years, do you see this rate of return? 8.2% over the past 20 years. This is the average. While the banker wants to give you 0.01%. My question to you would be, would you rather put your money where everybody else is putting their money, or do you want to put your money where the banks are putting their money? And skip the middleman and make what the bank is earning on your money. Go ahead to the next screen, Joan. I just want to share with you, this is an illustration. And so I have a young lady, she's 35. She's contributing $400 a month. She's putting it into her 401k anyway. So by the time she gets 50, she would have contributed $78,000. But she has, her cash flow now is $94,000. She starts off with a death benefit of $353,000. Watch this. Move to the next screen, John. When she gets, let's say, retirement age, 65, she would have contributed $168,000. Everybody see that on my screen? $168,000 at the age of 65, and she has now cash $359,183. If she was to pass away, her family would not just get the death benefit of $350,000, but they would also get the $359,000 cash. By the way, let's say she wanted to, let's say her name starts with a C, but let's say Miss C. Let's say when she's 54, she has $143,000. This is tax-free money to her. If she wanted to go to Paris because she wanted to, that might be her emergency, and she wanted $20,000, she can definitely get that. She doesn't have to pay it back. There are 5 laws that govern this particular structured policy that allows you to be able to withdraw money from your own family bank and not have to pay it back. Go to the next screen for me. This policy, you see that it continues to grow and grow. The cash value, it grows. This was structured for her. It continues to grow. She's not put anything else into the policy beyond the age of 67, but it's continued to grow. And her death benefit continues to grow. It will last her till she gets 119 years old. Go to the next slide for me. So that's one way. When I was talking about how protecting your money, next screen, please. I was talking about leveraging your money and being able to protect your money and to build wealth with your money and be able to become more informed about your money. This is all encompassing the mindset and the habits that we need to change. Perhaps some of you are doing very, very well, and you don't need to change a thing. For those of you who know people who may not be doing very, very well. And I want to say, for people, who look like me, it's sometimes a little difficult to break that surface of that mindset because Uncle Dooney has done it this way for a long time. I'm going to do what he does, or my auntie is my professional person, but auntie has not, built wealth, but I'm just going to do it anyway. And the other thing, I'll be all right. How are you going to be all right if you're not learning? You can play this money game, but the rules of this game has changed totally. It's changed totally. This info age has put it on a fast pace. And if we don't keep up with this game, then we're going to lose. We already know that out of the African-American households, they're only at the average net worth of an African-American household is $17,000. $17,000. That's it. So let's just hit on just a couple of things about your household budget. I'm going to go through this and about your credit score and then wealth building. So go ahead and advance for me. So we look at this spectrum. What makes up your financial wellness? So I'm going to talk about the situation that we're looking at and why it's so critical that we promote financial literacy, because some people have poor financial habits. They lack a practical this education piece. This is in the school system. They're not able to get a job immediately after college. They make mistakes and compounding, mistakes after mistakes before you realize, say, okay, I got enough. Let me tear this mountain down that I've built that kind of like, I don't know, it just came up, but I don't like the way it's looking. Then I got to tear it down. They lack the confidence and experience. And then this excessive student loan and credit card debt. Do you know during the pandemic that many credit card companies canceled people's credit cards because they were not sure that people were able to pay them back? So they canceled them. Look that up. So we talk about creating a budget. Just take a screenshot of this and you can create your budget. If you don't have one, just say, I don't have one. Send me one. Let's talk. Let's do it. Go ahead and advance to the next one. This is the second page of creating your budget, and you can take a screenshot. So you're listing everything that you need. Please don't be afraid to, I know you're going to have to be really exposed. But that's the only way. When you go to the doctor, how can the doctor help you if the doctor doesn't know what's wrong with you? So go to the next one. So we have to make sure that your plan is in place. You're creating this budget. And then step 4, the next one, you're going to start a weekly log of your expenses. So if you just, this is what I suggest, get a paper bag. And then everything that you swipe your debit card with, just go ahead and take the receipt, put it in the paper bag. At the end of the week, tally that up to see how much you've spent. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I spent that much. Because if you looked at your expenses, you look at your income, you write it down, it's like, wow, where did that money go? On paper, I'm supposed to have this much. Well, in my pocket, I have this much. So there has to be a balance that's created. And so if you look at your fixed expenses, when your due dates, your income is received, does it take work? Yes. Should you do it? Yes. Should you rely on somebody else to do it? No. Why? Because it's your personal budget. Let's go to the next one. There's some just some tips for you. You don't overborrow. If you get a loan and you need $2,000, don't get 16, get 2, right? And then you start avoiding the credit cards unless you gotta, plan on using them only for emergency. When I say, ladies and gentlemen, it's a habit that we change little by little, change the habits. Go ahead to the next one. And here's some tips just for smart spending. Some people laugh at, you go to the Dollar Tree? Yeah, I go to the Dollar Tree. Oh, yeah, because it costs $1. Same thing. You can buy it at Walmart for $3.29, or I can go to the Dollar Tree and get it for $1. It's the same thing. Do you care what people think? They're not paying your bills. They have nothing to do with your household. You do you, for the benefit of you. Right? Let's go to the next one. Thanks. So I want to hit on the credit report real quick. Go to the next one, please. So why is building credit? Why is building good credit important? Because it is your ticket. It's your ticket to get into places, to purchase what you need. Why should anybody have to pay interest on a car 29%, 23% when somebody else is getting it for $0 down? It's because we just need to work on a couple of things, right? Go ahead. So this is what influences your credit report. So I would encourage everybody, you can get your credit report for free. I would encourage everybody to look at your credit report. Even if you have a score of over 800, look at it and see what's on there. Make sure something's on there that's not supposed to be on there, so you can get that removed. That's a whole nother class. I can give you some wonderful lessons on how to make that happen. But this is what the credit companies look at. When they look at your credit report, they want to see the age and type of your credit. They want to look at if you've been paying your credit on time, how much you're spending when it comes to your credit card. If you have a credit card of $6,000, you should have no more than $2,000 on there. 30%, that's all you need to have, because anything above that is going to decrease your credit score. They look at what balances you owe and your recent credit behavior. How many inquiries do you have? If you have a lot of inquiries on your credit report, the next person who runs a credit, they're going to say, no thanks. Why? Because you've already got a no thank you from a lot of other companies. So please make sure when you get ready to go and make a purchase, make sure that your credit report is where it needs to be before you be exposed to that company, because that really can hurt your ego or hurt your pocket because you have to pay more. So spread this information. Go ahead to the next one, please. So credit reports, they want all of your information. please make sure your address is correct. Some people say, oh, no, I don't want them to find me. Yes, you do. You want them to find you, because if you're not honest on your credit report, that speaks to your integrity. There can be only one person sometimes that will have the power of the pen to say yes or no. So just go ahead and be honest with everything, all the information. Go to the next one, please. And when you're applying for a loan, you're authorizing the lender to ask for a copy of this credit report. So it just lets people know where you are. And if you have public records, they'll stay on there for 10 years. Go ahead to the next one. And this is the makeup of your credit score. This is what influences your credit score. So amounts owed take up 30% of the decision that is made. And then your payment history. Are you a good credit risk? So if you work on these two, this is really going to help to escort you into the place where you want to be, like representations of these scores. Where are you and where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Go to the next one for me, please. If I'm going too fast, just say, hold on, I need to take some notes here. This one is, how many of you want to know how to remove a collection account? Just so really quickly. I'm giving you just this one tip. All right. So if you have a collection account on your credit report and you disputed it with the company, and the credit bureau say it's accurate, say, okay, all right, I got it. Call the credit company. Say, Mr. Jones, I understand I owe this amount, and it's with your agency right now. Can I send you or set up a letter for pay for delete? They know what that is. This is what it is. If this letter is sent, all the collection agencies want is what? They just want the money. That's all. Pay for delete means that they will literally, they turn the other way. When the credit bureau sends in that inquiry saying, we have this account, this client is disputing this, blah, 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 blah. If it goes beyond 30 days, then the credit bureau must remove that account. There's so many different ways. It's a waiting game. And if you are paying an agency, please, that's great. Let me speed up your process. You tell that agency, there's a lot of them now, say, I don't want letters 1, 2, and 3. They're going to say, what are you talking about? Just say, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want, and please make sure on my credit report that you're not telling a tale. I know when we were younger, we couldn't say the word lie, but you're not telling a tale. So what they will do then is say, well, this is our first time that, no, because it'll come back on you, the debtor, saying, you said that this wasn't your account, but it is. Oh, well, the company, no, but you signed a contract. Make sure that they are acting on your behalf honestly. That's the first thing. And then tell them, skip to letter 3 or 4 when you say, okay, we want the attorney involved. That's what you want. Because by the time you've paid 3 or 4 months to this company, then they have $400 or $500 of your dollars already. Tell them to skip all of that and move to the next one. And so what I've done, I just want to show you, go to the next one, John. So this was one, I helped a lady. She came to me and she says, oh, okay. I looked at it. I said, all right, well, we can kind of like do something. So I sent one letter, and go to the next one, John. And so immediately, wow, look what happened. Her credit score got a plus 63, plus 98, and a plus 65. Go to the next one, please. So it went from a 544 to a 663, 591 to 736, 547 to a 652. You can do this in the comfort of your own home. It just takes a little work. So go to the next one, then have some numbers, some information. So take a screenshot of this, and I'm bringing this thing on home. I just have a few more pieces of information, and then I'm going to wrap it on up. So when we talk about building wealth, and I know this is a lot of information, but I'm hoping that you're getting something out of this presentation tonight. This is critical. I looked at a book called Money, Wealth, Life Insurance, and I'm going to put it up on the screen in just a second. And in this book, it had a list of companies that had companies that own life insurance. I'm like, do they own it for their employees? Oh, wow, that's really cool. They help their employees. Oh my goodness, I was so wrong. Wrong answer. So I looked up General Electric. Go to the next screen. And so I looked up General Electric, and I said, well, before I do that, let me look at this next page. I looked at this next page, and I said, bank-owned life insurance. I was like, what do you mean bank-owned life insurance? I said, oh my gosh, Bank of America put in $19 billion into life insurance assets. Wells Fargo, $17 billion. I'm like, why are these banks putting in money into life insurance assets? Do you remember a few, like about 15, 20 minutes ago, I was talking about how banks use your money and they are able to receive compounding interest. Well, the banks are taking your money that you contribute to your account, put it in what the FDIC says they can have as Tier 1 capital. Tier 1 capital per the FDIC says this is the safest place that banks can put money. And they're putting your money, and they're receiving 10, 15, 20, 25% rate of return, while the banks are giving you, squeezing you out 0.01%. How does that make you feel that banks are using your money to make money and you're not getting any of it? Doesn't seem kind of right. Go to the next. Thank you. So this proxy statement, I said I pulled from the web, General Electric. I saw how the CEO made $3.75 million, and he got a bonus of $5.4 million. That year, he made $18 million. This is 14 and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 says the same thing. This is the concept. Go to the next one, please. So I said, surely these CEOs and corporate executives, they have great retirement accounts. No. Do you see the yellow column, the one on the right? The CEO, Mr. Jeffrey, he put in $9,100 that year. He made $9.15 million, but he put $9,100. I'm like, how does that work? I have doctors and nurses who are my clients. They were maxing out their 401ks, maxing it out. Why wouldn't this gentleman max out his account? Well, then I looked and I said, wow, he put in $314,000 in insurance. So, well, why is that? But there was no disclaimer on the bottom letting me know what he did. And then I started putting two to two together. I said, oh my goodness. You remember what I just showed you a little while ago about how your money can grow and accumulate by the example that Miss C had? This is what the corporate executives are doing still. All of that list of companies, Starbucks, Macy's, PG&E, all of these companies, corporate executives have exactly what I demonstrated to you. They're not banking on a 401k. A 401k is not going to retire you well, because it's going to allow you to run out of money. And people say, oh, well, my company is matching me. That's so great. But guess what? When the company matches you, they will match you only because they've made more revenue than what they have projected. And that projection says to the company, we don't want to pay taxes on this money. You know, when the corporate board gets together, board of directors, what do? Well, let's go ahead and give it to the employees so they can pay taxes on our money. Are you kidding me? Oh, absolutely. And you're paying taxes twice on the money? So is your 401k really going to do you justice? Is it really going to serve you? So I challenge each one of you to look at your 401k and then blend it in with the rest of your life and say, well, is it really going to last me? If you're making 100 grand, 80 grand, 50 grand, whatever it is, and you're looking at your 401k, how many years is that going to last you to make sure you maintain your quality of life? So all I want to do, ladies and gentlemen, we look at a couple of financial needs. I need about 4 more minutes and I'm finished. We look at your financial needs and we say these are 6 areas where we see where people may need some assistance. And if you're on here tonight and you say, well, wow, I do want to increase cash flow. How can I do that? Or I want to send my kids to college. How can I do that? Or I don't have 3 to 6 months of income in my bank. How do I do that? Because I do have sometimes emergencies and I want to be able to properly protect myself against my loss of income. Quick question. If you went to the doctor tomorrow because you're not feeling well tonight and the doctor says, I'm so sorry, we have upsetting news. You have cancer. Would you be able to have another stream of revenue that will kick in to help you tomorrow? This is what we do. And it's all under the umbrella of insurance. So please let that definition that you may have come on here with saying insurance is just for beneficiaries, is to protect you. So even while you're building your wealth, you can protect your wealth and you can outpace inflation. We teach you how to preserve your wealth. Go ahead to the next one. So coming to a close, I'm at third base. We have 5 different core areas. So financial literacy is not all of it. It's the whole aspect of financial education. We look at the knowledge base. We look at the sentiment. People feel some type of way about their money, right? And it's the behavior. My question to you, are you willing to adopt a new behavior that will allow you to experience the quality of life that you deserve? Are you willing to look at what systems are in place? Not just from me, but you may have your own financial advisor. Ask your financial advisor these questions, but be willing to be exposed because there are some outcomes that you need to achieve in order to make that happen. Go to the next one, John. So on this website, financialeducatorscouncil.org, there's a financial literacy test, and it's free to you to take. It's in different areas. Jot this down, take a screenshot of it. I encourage you to find out where you are about your knowledge base, about your finance. How much do you know about it? And then if everybody took that screenshot, great, we can go to the next one. And this is what the page will look like. So you can take this, see where you are, and no one knows it but you. So it's personal information for you. And going to the next one. So some of the services that I offer, we stand on this great platform. I'm a senior broker with our company. And we offer different products and services to assist you. Definitely, if you are in need of a living trust, I've partnered with a national attorney firm that he has made available to me a special living trust package that can help clients as well. And even if you have small children, please don't think that if something happened to you, that your children can go spend the rest of their lives with their auntie or your mom. It doesn't work like that. The court makes the decision. So make sure you have everything in writing. Long-term care, annuities, give you income for life. We help with retirement planning, where you would get your money tax-free, final expense plans, the whole aspect. And going to the next one. These are a picture of books that I do recommend. And the Money Wealth Life Insurance, it's only 60 pages. I can send that one to you via PDF. I can send, I believe, The Retirement Miracle to you via PDF, and I believe The Power of Zero PDF. These are some powerful books, and I often ask, where were these books and how come I didn't know about them as a professor of finance? It's because no one showed me. I wasn't looking in the right section of Barnes and Noble, but I do know they exist, and that's why we want to share them with you. So as we come to a close, advance to the next slide. Financial education, it's a social justice issue. And increased education equips everybody with the tools to make better decisions, to understand their first paycheck, and to take better care of themselves and their family. So I just have some decision-making time and some action steps for you. John, the next one. So you can, this is what I would love for you to do. Contact your school district office and demand, don't just ask, demand that financial literacy be added to the master curriculum. And then for you, begin using a monthly budget, and then tell your family and friends about what you learned today, and then work on your credit report to increase your score. And then reach out. You can reach out to me to schedule a follow-up for a free financial roadmap. And we've opened the doors to even help if you need to earn extra income. That's available for you as well. And we can talk more about that. So with that, John, hopefully I've brought value to your audience today. And we can take questions if you like, if you have time. I don't know what the schedule is now.
Yeah, we could go through some of the comments. I have a lot of questions for you. I'm excited. What a powerful presentation that you put on, Dr. Johnson. A lot of great information. I mean, you gave the sauce, the gems to the community. Community, if you heard nothing from none of our educational presentations tonight, you got the gems, you got the sauce, and my prayer plan here was raising up. So money must be coming, because if my sister Brittany Doyle from Wise Health brought me this prayer plan. I watched it. It was moving for me. And powerful books. You see, I have the book there right here. I'm gonna be reading this book as I'm flying down to LA, and then The Power of Zero.
Yes.
See, I have the book. See, I'm not messing around, people. I'm trying to lead by example. I'm gonna definitely read both of these books while I'm in the air tomorrow and get through them, because again, every day I'm trying to enhance my financial future as well. And we have to continue to learn, to earn, and to make sure that generational wealth is passed on. I did see comments coming through while you were speaking, but I'll go back to some of them and just run them across the screen. I don't know if it was a lot of questions, a lot of people agreeing with you, a lot of people was giving out praises to the work you're doing. But I want to get in there and just say this, because I think a lot of the information that you provided is well needed information for the community. And I like your call to action. And I think this is the real action of making sure that, one, we educate ourselves. And that's why this platform is so important to the community, because even if you come in late, you can always go back to YouTube and rewatch it. And this is one way to get these resources and information to our community. And that's what we pride ourselves on here, making sure we get that information, the intentional education, and get it back to our community, so that people at the leisure of their time could watch it. When we talk about money and finances in a Black and brown community, this is a taboo conversation. It's a stigma conversation. We don't like to have this conversation about money at the dinner table. So what a way for you to come on tonight and present this to the community, so at the leisure of their times in their homes, they can rewatch this, get some of the tips, reach out to you, and different things of that nature. Very, very important information. And I like, one of the things that I'm really pushing for our community, and I'm glad you talked about insurance, because we need to have insurance in our community. So I'm always pushing that, and I understand the financial strains and sometimes in our community that we're faced with. But we want to make sure that our community folks are able to protect themselves, and I always push term, right? I'm like, get you a term policy, very affordable. You could get a, $2 million coverage for about $100 and still be protected. And that's just one way. Not saying that that's the main way, but that's one way. And it saves our community time, because at the end of the day, we're trying to get them to build wealth, right? And these steps of wealth building that you're talking about now in your presentation on the financial needs part, I thought the order was a little bit distorted. I didn't like the 1 to 6, right? I like to see us focusing on building the wealth, building up an emergency fund. And my order is a little different, that I kind of teach a lot of this as well. But I like people to start building their emergency fund, looking at their debt, snowballing their debt, trying to get that down, and then getting into the college, making sure that the insurance is part of the budget, and in college, that process, because I think that's where we really need to go. Because again, in the beginning of your presentation, you talked about how $2,000 would impact most families. And I think before we start worrying about insurance, investing, not insurance, but investing in college, we want to make sure we have that emergency fund, because again, typically in life, those emergencies come up, and it's a struggle sometimes, and when you're trying to do a lot of things, you get put in these situations, but trying to have that emergency fund for those emergencies, because they will pop up. And I even think 2,000 is too low nowadays here in California, especially. You might need 5,000.
Absolutely.
Everything is so expensive. But I think that is very well, and I'm just happy to have you here tonight to really get that information. I hope community really takes your offer of reaching out to you, because we really have to start pushing this financial literacy, and again, not just talking about it, but putting it into action. And our people, our people, very prideful people. So when it comes to money, nobody want to talk about their finances. I went through a lot of these people budgets, and I can't believe some of the waste that our people do. And like you said, once they realize it, it's like they just got slapped on the head and they wake up. I've done this for so many folks, helping them try to turn their financial situations around. People are having 3 or 4 gym memberships, 5 paid personal trainers, 15 different applications that they paid all this money. They never use it. I go, but do you understand these people are taking this money out of your account every day? I think the first thing that we have to teach our young people is to make sure you know where your money is going. And I think the more consciousness that we have about where our money is going, I think the better off our community grows fast. Because one thing about us, we're the show me folks. If we see it, we believe it. And sometimes you got to give it the hard facts. I look at some of these folks, and it's like, you're spending $200-300 at Starbucks a month. Like, do you know what you could be doing with extra $300 paying off some student loans or something else? But again, it's about being, the comfortness, right? And the one thing about financial literacy, and when you start changing that financial paradigm, it's you have to have that uncomfortable life change, right? You have to pack a lunch. You have to do some of the things that you don't want to do. You have to eat leftovers.
Oh my gosh!
If you're single, you might want to put your date life on for a while, because you look at some of these folks, and it's just like they're spending $2,000-3,000 a month sometimes eating out and partying. And it's just not getting us ahead. And we're fashion folks, so we got all the Burberrys and the Gucci's and the Prada looking good, and our pocketbook is saying no more.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, and I'm glad you're bringing that up too, because even saving just a little bit and then allowing it to compound is really going to make a difference. And one thing I do want to also talk about is that the long-term care piece. I do want to talk about that, because long-term care is in place not just for elderly people. It's not just for the elderly. We had one young lady, she's 32, and she just went blind. And she could have received, up to $500,000 had she gotten a policy. But she thought, I don't need it now. And she doesn't have it. But we had one lady who was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 39. She had a term policy, and she was paying $41 a month. So the company paid her out $247,000. It covered her. The Lord healed her. She didn't have to pay the money back. So these are just some of the things that we do. But again, John, it's the mindset. So if changing people's minds, or even gradually, like you said, we know our people. I know. And we want to help our people. We do. And I want to say that our people need to be open to receiving information. That's why I say, John, I'm glad you got the books. I'm glad you have them, because now you're seeing, and you can testify that when you have this information, you're a lot stronger, and nobody can take away from you what you know. When you know it, you can do better, and then you can start looking at, I believe that our generation messed up. I'm 61, and I see some of our kids on here. There, we got 8 of them. Jocelyn.
Wait, say that again. You said what generation messed up? Say that again.
I'm gonna have to say it. I have to say it, because you know that our parents, our grandparents, they had policies in place, or they had money in the mattress, and they had money in a hole or in a jar, you know, and put some cookies, not cookies, because people would have got the cookies, but they put flour, you know. And so it's like, but they were savers. How were our grandparents, our great grandparents, able to buy 2 and 3 homes with an 8th grade education? Now you have people, high school, college, and they can never purchase a home. So our generation, I own up to it, because, come on now, John, I don't know how old you are, but come on now, come on.
See, I'm a young pup. I'm only 42. But what I was trying to say, and not to make definitely a light of the situation, but what I wanted to say is that's great leadership, what you're presenting, right? Because on this show here, I'm always having these disagreements with the elders of our community, and sometimes the elders in our community don't want to take accountability for some of the things that they've done to mislead the young generation, right? So it was just nice to hear you say we take accountability.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of times the elders in the community always want to say it's the young people. These young folks don't know nothing. They don't want to listen. They want to do that. I say, well, y'all elders don't want to pass the torch to the young people and teach them the right way. But I love your leadership. I love your accountability. That's where it starts in our community. I think that is very powerful that you said that. Some of these other elders and some of our religious elders and some of these other elders of the community need to just stop it and just take a little accountability and say, hey, we made some bad decisions that impacted our community. We was wrong, and we take full accountability, and we're willing to go ahead and make the change to move us forward. So I really appreciate that. I think that was very classy of you, because a lot of times, some of our elders in the community, they don't want to take credit for some of the things that have taken place. Not saying that our young people don't need to be held accountable, or some of the things that they're doing. But again, and I don't put all the X and the blame on you as well, because again, it was time. Like when my grandparents was growing up, it was the times we were in. And I think sometimes in the Black community, we have too much history and not enough future. Okay, and we got to get to the future and understand that, the way things was for Big Mama and them is not the way it is here in 2021. And there's a lot of changes that need to happen. But in our community, we get stuck on, well, my mama and my daddy and grandma did this. But this is 2021. We got to keep up with the future.
It's not the same. Our currency is not the same. Everything has changed. And if we don't move it forward, then we're going to lose out. So I do. Because we wanted to give children, just give and give and give. No. Whatever worked for us, we should have followed that along. The work ethic. Our parents had 3, 4, 5 jobs, and they went to work on time. They were not late. But now, if our children see us slacking, we're their role models. We're their first teachers. So yeah, I take that. I take that. But now I'll say, okay, now we got to get it together. So I wanted to say our generation may have to bear the brunt of getting this back together. We may not see the benefit of what we do or the seeds that we plant. Just like I think it's the bamboo tree. It takes like 5 years for the roots to grow deep. So we're bamboo planting trees right now. And so we may not see the fruit of our labor. But we have to make sure that we at least plant the seeds, because if we don't, then our generations, they'll have no fertile ground in which to plant. They won't have any fertile ground.
Wow, that is very powerful. I'm glad you said that. Community, Sister Johnson is laying it out there right now. This is crucial information. I hope y'all taking notes. I hope y'all paying attention, because what she's talking about is very real, very important. And I definitely want to reach out to you to see if we could get some of those estate attorneys to come on this platform to really educate our community. Because in the Black community, especially here in the Bay Area, especially in California right now, with gentrification and with the number of things that are taking place in our community, a lot of our families are losing wealth because we don't have estate planning. And like you said, so many times, the courts and the attorneys, and you know us Black folks, when it comes down to Big Mama dying, we fighting and we losing all the wealth, right? And because we don't have those wills and trusts in place, the court system, probate court, end up stealing all of our wealth. And we got to change that. We got to fix that. And we don't need Big Mama and the mamas of the community just saying, well, when I'm dead, y'all deal with it. We got to be intentional, community. We got to get our estate planning in order. So if something happens, especially in these times that we've learned so much during COVID, that at the drop of a dime, something could take place and happen. And sometimes our elders, the way they held on to it. I just lost my mom several weeks ago, and a lot of things we're still finding out. But that's how they was raised. They say, "When I'm dead, y'all figure it out." But we need our community to do better, and it starts with leadership, and it starts with powerful folks like Dr. Johnson talked about, taking the lead. We all have to be the change. Let's all invoke this change into our community. We can't just wait on the school districts. We can't just wait on local government. We have to do what we need to do as a community. Okay, and take this lead and educate our community so that we put our community on the financial track that it needs to go, so we can thrive and be a part of the other races of this nation, to be competitive and to be understanding that we have to have ownership, community. And it starts with these type of trainings to learn how to manage money, how to invest money, and make sure that we move our community forward. And I appreciate you coming on, because this is leadership and this is what we need. We need more of these educational Thursdays. And I always tell people, it's not competition. I don't care if 20 people is teaching it. I just need my people to get the information. I don't care who's teaching it. Get them the right information, get them on track, and just make sure that when you're handling our people, you handle them with compassion and humility. Too many times, these folks who climb the educational ladder, learn the game, wants to come back and take advantage of our community. I don't like that. I call them property pimps. They come down here and they try to take advantage of our people. Make sure that when these folks come into your office, and I always tell people, I'm an advocate for my people. So when people come on my show and talk about financial literacy, I always tell them, if they come to you for investments, it's one thing you have to promise me. You're going to make sure that 65% of their portfolio is going to be in index to fund accounts. Okay, I don't want my people getting screwed into mutual funds and all these different accounts where these processing fees and these management fees is going to take up a third or a fourth of their wealth. Okay, too many times people will have $1 million and they have to pay $250,000 to $300,000 in management fees. Okay, because we don't have the education. So I want to make sure that all our financial people that are working with our folks, especially the hard-working folks of our community, too many times the elders of our community work 30 years on these jobs, and they still don't have enough money to retire. And then when they find out the truth of the money that they have, it's all being taken by this money management. So I always tell the people that come on my show, and I'm going to fight and argue with anybody that comes out here, I want to make sure if you're selling those stocks and bonds and retirement to my people, I want to make sure that 65% of their investment is in index to funds account, so that they can be locked in and they're going to have that safe growth over time, and make sure that they get their wealth for the hard work that they did. Make sure that they have a life insurance policy. Try to keep them as much as you can in the fixed. We like the variable because it's good to make time, but we know in our families, the presence of an emergency can happen anytime, and we don't want the change of interest rate to impact their overall umbrella of their financial things. So, that's just the only thing I ask. Don't sell my people all of the crappy whole life policies that the premiums gonna go up in a couple of years and they can't afford it. I mean, because this is the stuff that I see. So I get real passionate about this because I've watched this happen. And I always tell people, yes, there are Black folks and there's folks around that can afford the whole life and do it. But when I'm talking about the people that I'm working with, I'm talking about the people that's right there in the middle, barely making it, but still trying to do the right things. Let's not put them in policies that they're not going to be able to afford because the premium is too high, and then they lose the overall insurance anyway. And it's just been a money game for a long time. So I always want to make sure I make that clear to anybody that come on here. You can teach, you can do whatever you want to do. We'll give you all the people access to you. But just make sure you do the right thing, because the people that's watching me, the people that I'm rocking with and I support in the community, sometimes they're not going to have that. And don't get me wrong, we have some people that's doing great, and that's well, but the people that we're most impacting are sometimes our people that right there in the middle of being very successful, or just barely making it, or sometimes just surviving. And we got to make sure that we still let them protect their wealth and protect their assets that they do have, and make sure that they get the right services. So very, very important stuff that you presented today. I liked all of it. I think this was amazing, the way you articulated it, and you brought it right straight forward. And that's what we about here, staying authentic, making sure that our people can feel it, right? Because if they don't feel it, they're going to tune off and go away anyway. But we want to make sure that our people get it, but you made it very simple. And, we just have to keep pumping this into our education system and into our homes. And we got to get back to our families, understanding you are the teacher. It is your responsibility. We can't wait on the school district. We can't wait on the families. We have to do our part. And this presentation tonight is the way we start. We get the information, and then we sit our kids down and we teach them the process. I remember when my mom was coming up, she would sit down and write the checks and go through the balance and say, this is what left. A lot of times in our families now, these kids don't understand what's going on, and parents are talking to them. They're not going through the details of what's going on, how to budget a checkbook, how to put a budget together, how to make the right decision when it comes to these finances. So this type of presentation is always powerful for our community, and we thank you for coming on today and blessing our community with this information. Community, you was blessed tonight with a phenomenal teacher. Please, if you want to get more information, reach out to her. We'll put the information up on the screen. If you want to sit down and have a consultation with her, please reach out and call her, and make sure that you're willing to be open, willing to be true. It's difficult to look at the bad financial decisions we make, but you can get the help if you're willing to open up and take the risk. And it all starts with a little conversation and a little bit of reading and education. I got my books. I'm not messing around. I'll be reading them, and I'm going to be putting these tools to use, because I want to enhance my portfolio even more to make sure that I leave the generational wealth for my child and my granddaughter, because I want to make sure they do it a little bit better than me. And, that's what it's all about. But Dr. Johnson, if there's anything else you want to say, I'm looking in the comments. It really wasn't too many comments that people had. But there's a lot of people just saying, great information, and, just agreeing with you. I think you did a phenomenal job tonight.
Okay. Well, no, you've said it all. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and maybe we'll do this again. But I'm all about the education, and let's just make our communities better. And whatever I can do to assist you, wholeheartedly, just call me. I'm just a call away.
Okay, no, definitely. We'll definitely reach out to you. And as a lot of program is coming as we wind down this year, there's a lot of mentor programs. We're doing some mentorship, and I would definitely love to get you a part of some of these organizations, whether it's in San Francisco, Oakland, to come put these presentations on to educate our young people. Unfortunately, sometimes the young people in the house are the financial savvy ones who help our parents out. So it doesn't matter. We want to make sure the information goes to the entire household, but how do we enrich and put this information into the community so that we can uplift our community? Very powerful stuff tonight. I enjoyed the presentation and the community. I'm sorry for the early technical difficulties that we had, but we got through it. We made a way. We pushed along and persevered, and we're here at the end. And we thank you all for tuning in tonight for tonight's presentation. It was amazing. Please reach out to Dr. Johnson. The phone number is running across the screen at the bottom. I'm going to put up the website, and if you want to reach out to her, we'll put up the email address. Please reach out to her. This is the time. We are in perfect time to focus our financial well-being. While there's a lot of debt forgiveness programs, there's a lot of things happening. Take this time this year. Let's go into the new year really about making sure that our wealth and our finances are in order and our homes is in order so that we can have a better future. Let's be a part of it. Let's not sit back and watch all of these other folks make wealth. Let's change that 17,000 net worth and let's bring that up to 200,000. And it starts with this starting here and getting there in the long term. Get your life insurance. You never know when that phone call is going to come. We want to make sure that the families are protected. So if you pass away, your generation of youth under you gets a head start with the right amounts. Please make sure that when you sign up for your life insurance, you're getting 12 to 15 times your annual salary to make sure that you can cover the cost. If you were to lose your life or someone close to you, please recheck your policies. I always try to tell people you got to make sure whatever you make a year, you got to do the insurance probably 12 times that so that whoever picks up the loved ones that you leave can be able to afford to take care of them. Financial is all what it's all about. This is the literacy. Eagles fly with eagles. Tweety birds fly with Tweety birds. Tonight, thank you, Dr. Johnson, for coming on and blessing the community with this information. Anything that we could do to help support you, we will. If you have a financial literacy class that you're doing or any digital flyers to one of your events that you're trying to do to get a community to be a part of, please reach out to me and I'll make sure that we blast it out to our community. And I'll definitely be talking to some of our sponsors and folks. I've been in some meetings and people are talking about some of these classes that they want to bring on board into their programming. And we definitely would like to recommend you and a number of others that have come on this platform to make sure you all get an opportunity to be stipend or taken care of to come teach our community, because we need this in our families. We need this in our community immediately. We are suffering. It is a crisis when you talk about the numbers and what it looks like. Financial literacy, we have to have it to empower our community. Ownership, community. We have to own if we want to take over and get our communities back. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in tonight. We will see you all next Tuesday for another segment of our Hidden Gems. This Sunday, it won't be a Sunday conversation, but we'll be here next Tuesday as we'll highlight some more amazing hidden gems. As you all know, every Tuesday at 7 p.m., we will continue to highlight our Black and brown businesses as well as those community leaders that positively impact our community. We want to patronize our Black and brown businesses and support them and uplift them, especially in these times, because a lot of times if we uplift them, those are the very employers that will hire the people that look like us and give them an opportunity. So we want to continue to keep that segment running to highlight our folks in the community. And then next Thursday, we'll have another educational presentation and we'll get that information out. Thank you all for tuning in. Continue to support us as we'll continue to support you. We'll be in the community doing the work. And we just thank all of our sponsors and folks that continue to be behind us and support us, to uplift us so that we can continue to do the work in the community and bless the people like we did tonight. This was an amazing presentation. If you missed it, go back and watch it, upload it on our YouTube, check it out, and listen to Dr. Johnson drop the sauce in the game to the community. I'm going to tell y'all, sometimes you just don't get this community information. I'm going to be real with you. They ain't going to tell you all this game. But index funded accounts, won't get caught up in all of the mutual funds. Make sure you get you a Roth and max it out. Pay the taxes up front because the tax game is only going to get higher, especially here in California. Make sure you get that Roth and max it out. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Dr. Johnson, for coming on. We appreciate you for giving up your time. Phenomenal presentation. Looking forward to seeing you back here in the future. And make sure you reach out to those estate planning lawyers and say, hey, I got a phenomenal opportunity for y'all to come on and educate the community. Maybe y'all can pick up some more clients by properly educating the community why it's so important to have an estate planning lawyer. So looking forward to that and any connections you have in that area, because I do want to get some more of those lawyers to come on and educate our people so we can stop losing our wealth in probate court. Very important stuff.
We'll make that happen.
All right. Well, God bless everybody. Be safe out there. I'll be traveling tomorrow. Pray for me as I'm up in the air, going to sit down and sit with the folks and figure out how to write up some of these Senate bills and learn some new stuff, meet some new people, and advocate for the people. Y'all know that's what I'm going to do. Make sure the bill is going to be right for the people. And then y'all can go out there and vote for it and see if it passed. But with that being said, thank you all. We'll see you this Tuesday for our Hidden Gem segment. Have a good evening. Be safe. God bless you all.
God bless.